Hey everyone, this is Steve with Blackfly. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to tie a caddis larva, and here are the materials. I will link all the materials in the description. So we got a firehole 520 size 14 at the 3.8 millimeter bead, and we're just gonna put down just a little thread base here. Grab our 015 lead, and we're just gonna insert that into the back of the bead, and I'm just gonna tie that in, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go ahead and give this about 5 or 6 wraps, and I want this fly to invert, and I want it to get down fast, so the lead really helps with that. And I'll trim it with some junk scissors, and now we're just gonna take and we're gonna jump our thread to the back of that lead, just to kind of hold it in place there. And we're going to grab one strand of crystal flash. We're going to fold it over our thread, and we're going to tie that in. And I'm going to tie well into the bend of the hook, and we'll trim these up later. Next, grab some black wire. I used brassy, and we're just going to tie that in just right behind the lead, just to kind of keep everything proportioned. And next we'll grab a piece of span flex. I think this material is really underutilized. It's extremely durable. It reflects like it's got a pearlescent color, and it's super tough, and the fish just seem to love it. So right here I'm just building up a nice taper. And we'll just stop our thread about right there, hang it over the cradle, and we're going to use the rotary option on our vise, and we're just going to do touching wraps and just wrap our span flex forward. And as you can see, this span flex is a little bit translucent, so that's why I like to use this hot orange UV thread, which I'll show you why at the end of the video. It's so cool. And so we'll just tie that in front and back, trim it, wrap back just a little bit, and then we'll grab our wire, and we're just gonna work our wire forward, creating a nice even segmented body. And we'll tie that in front and back, and then we'll just spin this off. You can bend it back and forth, helicopter it. Next we'll grab some hen pheasant. Grab one feather, it's a soft hackle. I'm going to grab the tip of that feather, and we're just going to preen those fibers back. And next I'm going to trim the tip of this feather just to create a real small tie-in point. We'll just tie that in right there and behind the bead. Bring our thread back forward. Then we'll just start to palm this forward. I like to get 3 or 4 wraps in and keep it really buggy. And I will take and fold the feathers, just kind of crease them so that way they kind of face back. Then just wiggle your thread and tie that in. Again, front and back. Then we're just going to preen all those feathers back, and then just get a few wraps in here. And then we'll trim our stem. Next, grab some peacock dubbing. This is going to give it a little more bugginess, and it's going to help push those soft hackle fibers back. Give it about 3 or 4 wraps. Then we'll just take and wrap our thread here real tight to the bead to create a hot spot. Grab our whip finish tool, give it a 5 or 6 turn whip finish, and we'll trim our thread. And I like to add a drop of water base. Right here I'm just brushing it out. Reposition the fly and trim the tail about half the length of the body. And here I'm just curling the tips of the feathers with my fingernail, It makes nice pictures for Instagram, but let's see what it looks like under the UV light. And you can see that orange thread just really pops and that orange collar. And this is what it'll do when the sunlight hits it. The trout really love this fly. It's just been a good pattern, but let me know if you guys tie some up. And just remember, guys, I'm a beginner. I'm still learning. But I do appreciate you guys watching, and hope you guys have a wonderful evening. If you want to check out my store, links in the bio.